Hey y'all, Kevin here, top 100 financial advisor, two-time author, one-time bestseller, and we're here to talk about the stock market. I tried to record this and do a live on Facebook. It would not work. I don't know why. So we're taking an alternate route using Zoom right now. And I'm just going to post this one and put it on YouTube and put it on the Facebook feed. So apologies, but the show still goes on. Like, I'm trying to be here 5 days a week. I'm going to be here at all costs 5 days a week. You guys also know that we are expecting a little one within the next 2 weeks. So maybe this will become the norm where it's pre-recorded. Maybe we'll try and move up the time with the live streams. We will be flexible because baby girl's going to have her way. It's my first daughter, so she's going to get whatever she wants. However, the stock market is still important. My job is to help you guys stay safe and build generational wealth. This is the same thing I'm going to do for her. So let's go ahead and get into it. As you see here, this is buildingbread.com/free. This takes you to my email list. One, you want to be on the email list because you get 2 free chapters of my best-selling book, Starting Point, How to Create Wealth at Last. Number 2, you want to be on the email list because I can help you save a lot of money in 2 ways. 1, help push you and direct you into stocks that are actually a good fit for you. And 2, how to avoid really, really terrible investments. And speaking of terrible investments, we're going to come right back to Kodak. Kodak is a stock I've told y'all to walk away from for at least 2 weeks now. I know time is a little confusing, at least for me. So it could have been a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. Y'all can go back and check the feed and see the video is still up. But they got that $765 million loan, and now that's on pause. The stock is down 42%. They were as high as around, I think, $33 a share. Now they're down to about 10, and it ain't looking good. And I told y'all, not a place that you want to be. I've also told you guys of places that you do want to be. Check the videos for those. But today we wanted to discuss AT&T. This was a suggestion from several people in the comments that said, look, I own AT&T. What do you think about it? It's been down. Is this a time to buy? Is it time to just leave it alone? What do you think? So here's my opinion on AT&T. Now, remember, this is an opinion. Whether you want to take it and you do whatever you want to do with it, know that your goals are personal. I'm not advising you to buy or sell any of these. I'm just taking it and say, look, if you're my client, this is how I would feel about that. But again, just how I feel. Take it or leave it. All right, now let's go ahead and take a look at AT&T. First off, we know that it has been down about 22% just this year. So year to date, it fell like everything. This doesn't shock me. Everything fell right around that March area with COVID, but it hadn't really recovered like most things have. The overall stock market, I wouldn't say it's recovered 100%, but it was at one point 99%, 95% back. Most stocks, or I won't say most, a lot of stocks are in that area where they're almost back, or at least within earshot of that. So we're going to compare it to the overall stock market here. I'm going to change this to a burnt orange color. And as you can see, let me slide myself out the way. The stock market is up this year 4%, which is pretty good. AT&T still down 22%. That is a big, big gap between the two. It's not like, things could have gone a certain way. No, like this is down here. This is down here where the airline industries are. That's not where you want to be. And AT&T, last time I checked, is not an airline or travel company. So why are they in this place? Why are they so bad? And is this an opportunity for us to perhaps invest and hold for the long term, or just to let it go? So let's go here. So this is a great article that I stumbled upon. I would suggest if you're interested, really interested in making a decision on AT&T, this is where you want to go. If you guys ask, I'll throw the link in the bio, but you just Google Wharton AT&T. This will likely be one of the first ones that come up. This is a good article on the merger between AT&T and Time Warner, which happened last year. And from the things that I pulled up, I think this is what's pulling AT&T down. They merged in 2019, AT&T, Time Warner. Time Warner owns a lot of stuff that ain't doing so hot right now, primarily because theaters are closed, they have higher costs, and it's hard to put out a lot of content. So let me see if this is working for us. So here you guys can see, let me just put me way up here. There we go. All right, so as you can see here, These are the things that came with Time Warner. So, you know, AT&T, Uverse, so on and so forth. They got the phones. That's what most, we think AT&T, we think phone service, we think internet. But also Time Warner Cable or Time Warner owns all these networks. TNT, MLB Sports Network, they got the NBA, they got NBA games, CNN, HBO, the list goes on. They even on Harry Potter, DC Comics, look at those. All right, so when we look at these, here are a few things. So we know that right now sports is iffy. College sports are, you know, the Big Ten canceled their entire season. That's going to continue. We know that there was no March Madness this year. So a lot of the TNT, like NBA stuff, NFL Sunday Ticket, these things are at risk. If you don't have live sports, these networks aren't making as much money. If you can't have people go to the studio and make, let's say, a DC comic book movie, same thing we've seen with Disney, they've had to push things back. That's a lot of costs that you're eating up and you're not putting out that revenue. HBO had actually been struggling for quite some time before now. So now you've got AT&T that was never really an amazing stock, but they weren't terrible. Now you've added all this extra burden, this extra debt, these extra expenses that's not doing so hot. On top of that, they've actually lost what we call market share in terms of the telephone business. This just came out yesterday where T-Mobile has added more, was it monthly phone subscribers. They have overtaken AT&T as the second biggest carrier. It was always, or it had always been, Verizon, AT&T, and who cares who comes after that. Now it is Verizon, T-Mobile, and AT&T. T-Mobile did merge with Sprint, so yeah, I don't know who's really after those three. Maybe US Cellular, Cricket, I don't know. But essentially, T-Mobile has now taken the second spot. So that is another big thing for AT&T. So they're, I don't know how you want to do the numbers. Maybe it's just AT&T and T-Mobile just combined and that makes them bigger, possible. But they've been merged for a little bit now. So you got T-Mobile taking over AT&T in terms of phone subscribers. Then you've got Time Warner weighing on top of that for all the costs. And then you have COVID. So all of these things start to really weigh on AT&T. And from my view, I think that's what's hurting the stock more than anything else. What I do want to show you before we sign off here is how AT&T had done over the last several years. So as you can see here, last 2 years got you negative 6%. So it hadn't been the most amazing stock to begin with. Let's see what it was for 5 years. You can see here down 11% over 5 years. So again, AT&T wasn't an amazing stock to begin with. It certainly isn't doing great right now. Now, when I happened to own the stock, it was actually, which was just happened to be the right timing. It was like the back half of 2019. So, you know, maybe August. I have to go back and look at the receipts. August, October type, and it had went up a bit, and then around January, February is around the time I sold it. So I got in and out at the right time, just because from 2019, they had an amazing year. It was incredible. They were at, what does it say, around $30 a share, went up to 38. Is that where, am I looking at that right? I'm looking here in the left-hand corner here. We can also just, you know, ask and just put in the dates exactly. Just January 1, 2019 to December 31st. That just, for whatever reason, and this was the year that they did the merger, so maybe that was why that was the case. But at the time, that was just a golden age for AT&T. But again, that seems to be an outlier. So we're going to apply that, and now you can see this was the one time that AT&T was much better than the stock market at 36% versus 29%. So again, other than this 1 year in 2019, when you take a step back, look at the overall picture, it's just not a place that I would put my money. Now, you know, if you are already investing in it and this is a stock that you had, you make your own decision. You guys know my process. I buy, I hold for 6 months, I come back and I reevaluate, which means I come back and see, is this still what I thought it was or is it not? So if you follow that process, completely up to you and what you want to do and what your goals are and what are the other things that you hold. But there's also why I teach in my classes that you want to follow that 5% rule. That comes in great handy right now. So that's my thoughts on AT&T. It's really One, they just haven't been good over the last 5 years, with the exception of 2019. One good year out of five don't cut it for me. So that's number one. Number two, they've got a lot of new business that they now have to try and integrate. Not every merger goes well. AT&T and not AT&T, AOL and Time Warner merged. That didn't go so hot. This one, it's still relatively early. It's been about a year, but it's also COVID, which feels like 5 years. So I'm not totally sure where they're going to go. Maybe they'll be able to pull it off. Maybe they won't, but things aren't looking good, especially when a lot of the business that you needed to run the HBOs, TNT, all the Time Warner stuff, it's a lot more difficult now than what it was 2, 3, or 4 years ago. So from my view, this is what's holding down the AT&T stock. I'm not a fan of it. If you buy now, when it's down 22%, there's no 100% guarantee that it's going to come back like it did in 2019. There's a chance, yeah, but what is that chance? I don't see that being extremely high. All right, so that's it for me today. Make sure that you share this video. Again, I apologize about not having the live normal stream that we do, but I do want to hear your thoughts and comments. So please type below, share, and let me know what you think. All right, talk to you guys later.